We in the house, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, everyone? This is your boy Armand Anderson Bell.
Yo, and I'm your boy Charles Jake Johnson. Was good. Y'all know what I say. Daddy's back.
Here we go with
Y'all
this.
excuse me last week. I was tired. Had a lot going on with, doing theater. But I'm done and
Yes.
Daddy is home.
Well, Big Mama Longstroke is in the house. What's up, everybody? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 15 of Agree to Disagree podcast. We are back. We have Tech Solutions in the house, so we're excited. We have a lot to cover today. But before we do, as we do every week, I'm going to hit the disclaimer because guess what, Jake?
We ain't got time for the buzz.
We don't got time for people and their feelings. And because of that, Agree to Disagree Talk is a show geared towards the educating, empowering, and implementation of voices, thoughts, and opinions from points of views, whom with by side to by oh Lord have mercy. I'm gonna start that over, okay? This show is geared towards the educating, empowering, and implementation of voices, thoughts, and points of views from whom, by society and sometimes self standards, way of thinking are oftentimes misheard, misunderstood, and badly misrepresented. By no means does this show wish to offend anyone outside of the black male perspective. That be me, that be he, that be we. Nor do we wish to speak for any one of our hosts when we have them. We wish to raise attention and awareness of this through our controversial topics of discussion, attempting to change perceptions from an us versus them and a me against the world attitude to levels of self awareness, self evolution, and self accountability in the hopes of making it a better world and place for us all to live in. Ladies and gentlemen, Agree to Disagree Talk, episode 15 is officially on the docket.
15.
Whew.
Episode
Yeah.
15.
Yes.
I ain't counting them last two. Some buzz.
Yeah, we just gonna, make it do what it do. But I'm excited. I'm a new person from last week. I know you are. So let's talk about what we did over the weekend and since we're talking last week.
Right. So, man, y'all know I was doing theater.
Hmm.
Having the lead role doing theater is a lot. You got to be at every rehearsal. You got the most dialogue, and I'm done. We had the performance on Saturday, and then day two was Sunday. Went really, really, really good. Um, I'm not sure if we're going to be in Sacramento and Vegas just yet, but I did find out that it's a possibility that the the play may be turned into a feature film.
Oh, shucky,
So
shucky.
before I left, one of the writers told me that they were in works right now or in talks with turning it into a feature film. So hype about that.
Yeah, we
And
got to
then
get him in here.
oh yeah. And then what else I do? It was your birthday over there,
Yeah.
and
Fella Capricorn.
we like my brother was in town, so us and some friends we all hung out, hit Hollywood, went to the Laugh Factory, watching some Chocolate Sunday, watching the comedians, and then just randomly, Kevin Hart was driving by and he just decided to stop in and gave us a good 45 minutes. I'm telling y'all right now, Kevin Hart got some new jokes coming, and them shits is hilarious. He got new material. He got new material, so he coming with some bangers though, some bangers. But other than that, man, I'm back to my normal self. Happy Jake. I ain't tired no more. I'm good.
We gonna make
Dang,
it do
how
what it
about
do.
yourself? How was your week?
Well, I unfortunately didn't get to make your play because I was busy turning 41. So Saturday was my official birthday. I turned 41 Saturday. And shout out to my good friends Bridget, Maisha, Coretta, uh, Cinnamon, Samin. We all went to a silent headphone party. And if you saw any of my live streamings Saturday, it was amazing. From the minute we walked in to the minute we left, we couldn't even leave because they were playing so much music. The thought of a silent headphone was really foreign to me a couple of years ago, but I went to an event that had it in a room. So this event was strictly the whole event. It's put on by DCLA. Look them up. The theme was 90s versus 2000. So you have these headphones like we have on now, but they have three different channels. On the blue channels was the 90s music. The red channel was the music currently now, and then the green was like a hip hop, I mean a techno sort of thing. So all night you're switching music, but the music is all played in the headphones. The DJs are battling each other. It was an experience. I haven't danced that much, but on Sunday, I felt every bit of 41 plus 10. So I'm still recovering, but I had the best 41st birthday. Thank you to my friends who came to my house. We had our pregame and we enjoyed ourselves. Thank you so very much.
I've been to a few silent parties. Them joints is live.
Man,
Them joints is live.
I mean, it was so funny. So, like my live stream, I was just having a good time, and I was like, in Facebook, you can't say shit because you can't hear the music. So we were lit beyond. I also got to go to see Bad Boys 3 on Thursday night.
right.
Thank you.
Forgot
Oh,
about
Megan.
that.
Yeah, Megan. Thank you again. That's my buddy. She celebrated my 40th with me last year as well as this year. But me and her are diehard Will Smith fans. So we got to see it in the IMAX laser. Man, I'm going to tell you, if you're a movie person, subscribe to the AMC premiere. It's $25 a month. You basically get 3 movies a week. I'm pitching them because it's phenomenal. Even when you don't go to the movie, 12 movies a month. You can see IMAX, 3D, all that shit for $25 a month. I implore you to go. And I got my birthday popcorn and soda, so I was good.
Yeah, I saw the movie over the week on Friday.
Yeah, I'm going to
That
get
yeah, I'll definitely probably go check that out. But yeah, I enjoyed myself. That joint was live. To me, I say it was the funniest out of all 3. Some people say part 2 was the funniest. I don't see how they say that, but
I was
you
too
know,
busy like with the nostalgia of it all and just from the chief and to everything.
we don't give
it
no,
was
we don't give it away.
right,
Still
but
too, still too fresh.
but it was phenomenal. Good, big up to Will Smith and Martin Lawrence for coming back. And man, if you go back and watch 1 and 2, you'd be like, man, you can't. It doesn't seem like it's been like what 17 years. It was a long time, but it was really fresh and big up to them, acting genius, black men doing their thing.
17. Oh,
Yeah.
hell no. That was 17 from when part 2 came out. Part 1
What?
came out in the 90s.
Yeah, so it was a long time shit.
Yeah.
So speaking of black men, as you guys probably already know, the country around the world, we just celebrated the observation of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his birthday. His official birthday is January 15th, and we always observe it the first Monday after that.
And I learned something new.
Right, we
Yeah,
all
if y'all
did.
if y'all saw what I put on Facebook, boy, that's crazy. So we're gonna touch on that.
We're gonna
today.
touch on that because
I'm actually
get-
getting educated today, so I probably won't be doing a lot of the talking with this. I'm
right,
gonna do
I
more of the
threw it on
listening.
you at the last minute, but that's because me and my journalism background, I was just like, wait a minute, something's not right. So if you have or you haven't seen on the January 14th, there was a picture of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King in a hospital bed. It was alluded that he was not, he died not of the assassination gun wounds, but the conspiracy was that he was smothered after that. So that was the real cause of his death. So after doing some research online, it's available for anybody if you want. I'm going to put the link up to the article that's it goes to. That information was fake. And I went through the article reading the things. And so forgive me for reading on the paper, but these are some of the bullet points from the article. And Jake and I are just going to go back and forth to discuss exactly what this article said. So basically, in the image was posted on Facebook, on Instagram, this past January 14th. It alluded again that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. died of being smothered in the hospital and not by the gunshot wound. Go ahead, Jake.
Just read anyone or
Yeah, well, we're going to go in order, so.
where'd you stop?
It's all right, I'm sorry.
Right here.
Yeah. So these are some of the key bullet points that the article explained. I just wrote a few down, but again, I'm going to put the links both in our Instagram and on our Facebook page. But basically, the
Damn,
article.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right. In 1999, the U.S. government found guilty of this in a court of law, but was silenced by the media. Oh, that's false.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what they were saying is that in 1999, that this picture that showed him that he was smothered, they found that information of him being shot in the with the gunshot wound false. And so Instagram instantly flagged the picture as being false. They went through so much because they have between Facebook and Instagram anything that reads as false news, and it came across as false news as well. Instagram flagged it, and but before it was flagged, it had over 9,700 likes, and then similar posts were just sprouting up everywhere.
How many likes?
9,700. That's crazy. That's really crazy. And so quickly we, again, without fully thinking um, of things, we take what we see on social media as truth. Now, again, I'm even open to the fact that this article may be false as well too. I don't know, but again, I did some research and this is what showed up. So basically, in a nutshell, the picture that most of us seen on Facebook and Instagram saying that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was smothered instead of dying from the gunshot wound is false. It also derives from they were doing the lawyer for Lee Harvey Oswald used this as a way of a tactic to divert that it wasn't his client, which most of us all know about the story. It was the assassination of Lee Harvey Oswald. So the lawyer brought up that he didn't die of that; he died of being smothered. It's really crazy. It also says that the picture that we see is of Dr. Martin Luther King. Oh, so let me go back again. So fact shows that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was shot around 6 p.m. and he officially died at 7:05 in St. Joseph Hospital on April 4th, 1968. So the conspiracy is about a decade old. I've never seen it, so I don't know. This is the first time that I've seen it come up. But again, we know how stuff comes up on the internet. And then to finalize everything, the actual picture that we see of him in the bed is of Dr. Martin Luther King after he was shot on September 20th in 1958 in the city of New York. So, Facebook, Instagram, us. How do y'all feel about that? Because I was in my feelings when I first seen it.
Yeah. I'm literally just finding this out yesterday. I mean, my daughter knew and I ain't know. She said, "Dad, how you ain't know that?" I'm like, I never knew. I never knew. I thought he died on the scene from getting shot. I had no clue.
We all did. And again, this I've said it. I've said it a million times, and I'll say it again. We really have to be careful of the information we take in because if you really look at any story, any big thing, there are four major categories that separate us as a people. It always has to do with something about race. It always has to do with something about religion. It always has to do something with sexual orientation, and it always has to do with politics. And I think again, this was another ploy to. Oh, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Who is Lee Harvey Oswald? That's JFK. Right. Okay. See, KJ. I was getting my letter. I apologize. Thank you, producer Paul. It wasn't Lee Harvey Oswald. I knew my history. It was just. So again, see, y'all could have took my word for it, and then y'all would have been walking around saying the shit that I got wrong. But that goes to a lesson as a society that we really have to be careful of the information that we take in and
I
do our
took it
research.
in, I believed everything he said. I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know
Right.
that. Okay, yeah, that name sound familiar. Okay, yeah, he's a murderer.
But the whole story left us in our feelings as a people. And what perfect timing to do it than right before the observation of his birthday. It again, how if most of us took it, we took it and ran with it, we reposted it, we tweeted it, it took us away from all the other shit that's going on. And again, I've said it a million times, I will continue to say it. Those are the four things that keep us separated as a people: race, religion, politics, and sexual orientation. You have to do your research. And again, this story may be another ploy for that. I'm not sure, but I know what I saw when I looked it up and took my time to research is that this is not true. Ladies and gentlemen, if you call us, please give us a call. Right, let me see.
The number is 323-577-7630. That's 323-577-7630.
No, Leroy, the picture that we saw, he was killed in 1968, but the picture that is on Facebook of him in the bed is from him being shot September 20th, 1958. So they used that image to say that followed him being shot on the balcony at the hotel. So that's what they're saying. So they took that image of him. I didn't even know I had never read that he'd been shot prior to being on the balcony.
Stop.
Stab. I'm sorry, stab. See? Thank you guys so much. I have it in the paper. I have it in the paper as well. See? Right, fake news.
Oh, so when he was stabbed, he ain't die.
Right. So the picture
So
that
he
we
got
saw-
so okay. So okay. So what you're saying is he was shot. Boom, boom. Went to the hospital. I'm thinking after he was shot and got to the hospital, that's when he was stabbed.
no.
That's when he was suffocated.
Well, the picture that we let's go back because I do apologize, you guys. I'm excited and everything like that, and I got a little more boop boop boop. But the picture that we saw was actually of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. after a stabbing that happened in New York City on September 20th, 1958. When he was shot was also that was April 14th, 1968. So they took that picture of him with the stabbing in 58 and used it to say this is what happened for the suffocation, and his death resulted in that.
Oh, so that picture is not
Right. So it was of Dr. Martin Luther King,
Right,
but it was in the out of context.
10 years before.
Right. Yeah, and so again, ladies and gentlemen, please call in, give us your opinion, your thoughts, because again, I was in my feelings. I decided to do a little bit more research, and again, I'm going to go back on the internet to see, because this story could be a cover-up. So if you have an opinion, any thoughts, give us a call. The number again is area code 323-577-7630.
And don't judge me if y'all see me drinking this little bottle of wine. You know what I'm saying? I ain't a drinker, so don't judge me.
Speak for yourself, baby. That's why I got my cup, my customized, blinged out cup that you've seen probably on every episode of Agree to Disagree Talk. So now that we got that out of the way, let's attempt to go back to the topic that we tried to discuss 2 shows ago. or what do you feel?
About
Do you want to go back to that topic or?
let's touch that. I mean, yeah. I mean, we can. I was gonna say let's touch on this because I'm a little dead over here. But,
Right.
But
It's been a long week for me. I feel that I can kind of breathe now. I know you can now that the play is over. Now that my birthday's over, it's just in a different space. I'm so excited. We have so much going on. We're going to be interviewing soon every fourth Sunday. So, you know, I'm excited.
okay.
So as far as the topic, because again, it was on your
Man,
page. You also had
everybody-
another topic that came.
Yeah, which one was that?
That was the
Because-
equality. And you said it's people love equality, but they use it situational wise.
I think I said something like everybody want equality until they get equality.
Right.
Then I said no, they just want the type of equality to make them feel comfortable or something like
Right,
that. Matter of
convenient.
fact, no, I'm actually about to go back and see what I said.
Right.
I hate misquoting even myself. But you can go ahead until I find it.
So we've talked about that before too, about how equality, and it's funny we throw the word equality, and it's so sad because we're looking at so many different groups of people who are fighting for equality, but then the actions of a few always are outweighed the good that the people who have done the work for that have fought for equality.
All right, so I said everyone wants equality until they get it. Nah, they just want the type of equality that best fits them. That's what I said. Everyone wants equality until they get it. Nah, they just want the type of equality that best fits them. That's what I said.
So you want to expound on that, or? And please, ladies and gentlemen, please call in or give us a topic. We just discussed the death conspiracy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Yes, we are going to talk about equality, entitlement, power, and privilege as well too. But we're going to lead in with that the equality comment that Jake had on his page last week. But yeah, that we're going to get back to that too because they all kind of tie into each other.
What's up, Jamaica?
Hey, Jamaica.
I must have messed something up. I can't do the watch party anymore.
Okay.
So I don't know. Something just led me to post that. Honestly, just I really didn't have when something popped in mind, I post. I don't care,
Yeah.
and I just deal with the backlash. So I don't really think. Let me. No, when it comes to my mind, I post it. So, I mean, if I can, come up with an example, y'all know I'm terrible at my examples.
You said it, not me.
I mean, shit. Sometimes I make sense. Sometimes I know y'all be like, the fuck? But, shit. I don't know. You
You want
touch
me
on
to
it
do?
real quick
Okay.
because I really can't.
So
Honestly, I just post to post.
right, I felt this way for a while now, and again, we have groups of people, women, African Americans, Latinos, who are fighting for equality, and then we have certain individuals from those groups who take it a step further. Like I honestly believe with everything that we're doing with this whole Me Too movement.
I
I've
like it
said
and
it.
I hate it.
I've said it from the beginning. The men may have been accountable for what they did, but the women, some of them are not being accountable because even if you're not in the industry of arts, entertainment, whatever like that, pretty much everyone knows what a casting couch is. And so my personal feelings are that the women are now coming out of nowhere, but they used that opportunity to whatever happened when it happened to leverage their career. Now they're coming back and saying, "Oh, he did this to me. He did."
But that's because they ain't become a star.
I, that's we we've said it, and I've said it too. Again, I'm not because I wasn't there. I was not there, but I also know that, and other people, and that was so funny because Kathy Bates. I don't know if it's a new article or not, but she just basically came out and said the same thing: is that these women had some. You ain't going to nobody's house at 2 o'clock in the morning for a cup of coffee.
Come on, man. Let's be real.
And it's just sad. Again, the witch hunt on some of these men. Again, it all started with Bill Cosby. I also heard somewhere that it wasn't just him trying to buy NBC. It was that he had brought a house or something.
What there was on the oil field?
Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah, him and his wife. Oh
So
yeah,
again,
it's deep. And I wanted to post about it, but I didn't feel like hearing everybody's mouth.
yeah,
So, oh yeah, it's deeper than just what the media showing y'all. It's deep,
right. And again, we have to look
and they
at
still own that property.
we have to look at the whole picture. Again, we talked about the whole thing with Kevin Hart. That incident happened, but it was a smokescreen or as you would say, a Trojan horse to get other issues out of the way. And with as far as the equality goes, I always say it's like, do you want chivalry or you want equality? Bitch, pick a struggle because you can't have both. And I think what you were talking about is that some women want to play the oh this happened to me, but yet they at one time. And again, we're not saying all women. We're talking about the individual. Again, we are going to continually say that this show is our opinions and our thoughts.
And
But
women, we want you to call
right,
in. If you're not gonna call in,
we
shut
can't
up.
speak for you. But we have to be honest. I always say out of every stereotype, there is a nugget of truth. And if you really don't believe that, I don't know what to tell you. Every negative thing, we all play a part in it. Whether it's about someone's size, their race, religion, whatever the case may be, we've all played part into it, but we don't never want to talk about it. So that's why I think what you were talking about with the equality, but it also goes, and then a bigger scope is that we were talking about the heterosexual community versus the gay community, men versus women, blacks versus whites. It's all these things that play into part. And we as individuals, and it's sad because a small group of people, like I just saw somewhere that it was a transgender individual was suing a pageant because they, in their doctrine or what how they were saying, the contestants had to be natural born women. I think that that fight is false because we have pageants. I've been in drag pageants. I've been, there are trans. You can't go and force something. But again, I don't think they're doing it for the equality. They're doing it to get money and being recognized. And that's when it goes out and tailspins to the wrongdoing.
So what you're saying is, you agree that if you were born a woman, then you should have your own pageant. You should have the pageant that the one that we all know about. If you're born, if you're a transgender or transsexual.
Transgender.
If you're a
Or
transgender,
right.
if you're a
In
transgender,
this instance.
you shouldn't be able to participate in.
No, I feel that they're forcing their way into an already established system for personal gain.
Now, what you're
Not,
saying is they have their own already.
we have drag pageants. We have pageants that are specifically for transgenders. What I feel as, in my personal opinion, is that this person is not doing it for equality or because it been different. Like when we started the NAACP, there was nothing like it. We've tried to do inclusion in other systems, but when we find that there wasn't, then we made our own. And I feel that this individual, that's just like, and we'll go to the sports thing.
I was just about to say that.
We'll go to this, and ironically, ladies and gentlemen, Jake and I agree. I think we agree more on some things than we.
That ain't good for entertainment, though.
It
That
don't
ain't good for
matter.
entertainment.
But I earnestly believe that in certain sports, if you've tried, and the
All
funny thing
sports.
is,
I'm saying all sports. If you was
Okay.
born a man, you participate in men's sports. I don't care if you wear your hair, if you put a wig on, if you got long hair, if you got titties. If you was born a man, you play with the men. If you was born a woman, you play with the woman. It is not fair that men, and I've seen this in high school, not when I was in school, but I've seen the videos and whatnot.
Mhm.
Men, these two guys
it
are
was the track stars.
yeah,
Yeah.
dominating,
Right.
dominating track
transitioned.
because they're men. They got that natural testosterone. They're stronger and all this other crap or whatever. It's not fair.
Right.
Wrestling,
Right.
same thing.
The MMA. So we'll go back. The two gentlemen that he's referring to, they were seniors in high school. During their junior year, they had not transitioned. I don't know. I know I'm familiar with the transition process. It don't happen overnight. So during their high school senior year, they come out and they're transgender. They went over and competed in the women's relay, whatever the case may be. Baby, they wiped the floor with them.
Dominated. It's not fair.
And I'm like, wow, but in their junior year, they may have placed, but they weren't as good. And so that's where an individual is using the gray line of transition, the equality thing. That's just like we have the individuals who are misusing the all gender bathrooms. Because the transgenders that I know, and correct me if there are any of my transgender friends on here, when you go to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom. That is the one and only thought. Hell, even me dressed as Imani, when I go to the women's restroom, I go when I come out. So the individuals who are doing these pedophilia things are a different breed or whatever the case may be.
Wait, you go to the so when you're Imani, you go to the women's bathroom.
Yeah,
When you're Armand, you go to the men's bathroom.
yeah.
Okay.
See, unfortunately, you haven't been around Imani, but you know, I get no looks or no stares, baby. I look more natural, but I also know I'm not in there and everything like that. I couldn't go to the men's restroom as
Dressed as
myself,
Imani.
as dressed as Imani. I couldn't do that. So again, I go to the restroom and I do what I do and I come out. I'm not looking. I'm not gawking. I'm there to use the restroom.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
Ask you a question.
Mhm.
Because it's what you identify as, right?
When I'm dressed up.
Okay.
When I'm dressed
So,
up.
is that applies to all men that dress up like women? They should be able to go into the women's bathroom?
If you're going to use the restroom and that's it, then yes. No? Okay. And why? And
You don't agree over there?
I don't agree.
I think it's, I feel like for that specific reason, the all gender bathroom is okay.
okay.
For that specific reason, the all gender, because I'll be damned. Well, I mean, my baby grown now, but if she was in a bathroom and then a man walk in,
We're not talking about.
I'm talking about a man dressed as a woman.
But how do you know? Because my receipts say that, baby, you can't tell.
I couldn't tell you was a woman when I saw your pictures.
Exactly.
But
And
what I'm
again,
saying is, but I'm saying for those who, okay, you could look, okay, yo, shorty chin is strong as mine, yo. Like,
But wait a minute, because there's some natural born women that look manlier than me, baby. Any day of the week, baby, they give me a run for my money. But what I'm saying is that for safety reasons and to not cause a big thing, especially, and again, I only was doing it when I was performing. Because it didn't make sense. I've done that. I've gone to auditions where I was Imani for one audition in the same audition place. I went into the men's and then I came out and it was like, what the, So I said, well, let me be more respectful to what I'm doing as Imani. I wasn't going in having a conversation. I went straight to the stall. I wasn't like trying to, like you remember that picture I sent you of the stud trying to stand up and use a urinal? That was funny as hell. That's a different story. What I'm saying is the people who are doing these horrible things are not there for that reason of just going to the restroom. It's for our safety as well, and also so I have a hard time even when I get my access as if I'm dressed as Imani, I have to have my business card because the access driver's like, no, your ID says you're a man, but you're a woman sitting in my car. There have been times where they did not even want to let me into the access, and so I was like, I'm not taking my wig off to show you that I'm a man. I'm an entertainer, so I do it as a respect for and also for my safety. Because, well, let me not say my safety because somebody stepped to me, baby, it's on and popping. But if I, as Imani, were to try to go to and I'm in a straight club, or in a straight event, and I go to the men's restroom, that's a problem. If I go as Imani and I go straight to the restroom, wash my hands, and do it moving, what's the problem? And if there is, I want to know.
For situations like that,
Hmm.
I understand the all gender bathroom.
Right. So that's why we have
That's
those. Okay.
it. You know what I'm saying? I hate going to restaurants that I used to go to. Matter of fact, when we went out this past weekend, went to one of my favorite bars out there in Hollywood. They changed the name like 3 times. So I don't even know the name of it anymore. But it's right by what used to be called Secrets. It used to be like a little hookah spot or whatever. But it's right next to there. Next to there. Bathroom they used to have men, women. Women line was always long. Men we get right in, get
Yes,
out.
God.
Now both of them, all gender. I had to wait in line like everybody else. I think that's bull.
That is true because I thank God there's been times where I'm like, oh my God, thank God I'm not dressed in drag because I can just go straight to the. It's a whole. I personally know it is a whole different situation. Men's restroom and
Yeah,
quite
women are
unpopular.
disgusting. Women, your bathrooms are nasty. She's agreeing. Your bathrooms, your bathrooms are nasty.
I will say that yes they are. They're more and I don't know what, but I will say that they are nicer. I have experienced both. There are mirrors that are not tagged up. There's even sitting
About to
areas.
say,
And I'm
women get
sitting,
couches in their bathrooms.
right, men don't get that
Women
shit.
get couches in their bathroom. But
We barely
y'all
get a
some
mirror.
women bathrooms
And
be
y'all sit
nasty.
there and y'all talk again. And I've always had that consideration as a gay man, even going to a men's restroom, I go in and because I don't want nobody thinking I'm doing anything other than what I'm there to do. So I've always had that cautious of going and be like, okay, get in and get out. So even as Imani, I've go- I've gone into bathroom. Y'all can. The funny thing is, women can go inside the handicap stall together, and nobody will look two ways. But a man doing that is always implied that something else, which 9 times out of 10 it is.
10 times out of
But
10.
but I've gone in with my stepmother. I've gone in with other friends. Women are, y'all kind of your baby. I should do a book about that. What goes on in the women's restroom from a male point? Y'all got your titties out. Y'all just and nobody is even looking you. Again, Imani goes in and Imani goes out.
Happened to me.
Yeah. What?
A girl showed me her titties. She was like, "How do my boobs look?" I was like, "Oh,
We we can do a sister act. Now see that's somebody using it for using their powers for the wrong thing. We got my good friend Rashad over here. He's like, well, do I need to go in the restroom? So hey, you know. So yeah, I get that. But going back to the sports thing, that MMA fighter, that one got me really. That and I don't know the name, so I'm not saying, but that
All in all, you want to be treated equal, but let's keep it fair. Okay? It is not equal for a man that wants to be a woman to
don't say wants to be that has transitioned.
okay, a man that has transitioned or is transitioning into a woman
Oh, thank you, Shalice. We miss you too, sweetie. We back and we good to go. Thank you, baby.
to want to compete against women in their sports.
But you're seeing that those individuals, because again, the transgenders that I know are stealth mode. they don't want anyone to know because of this discrimination, because of
Reg-
what
I mean,
goes
but
on.
but regardless if we know if that's a man or a woman or not, regardless, they shouldn't. It still shouldn't be done.
Again, this whole thing is new to everyone, so I get. But again, you that's just like people who are sue happy.
Huh?
It sue happy meaning you do something to me, and I'm going to sue you.
Okay.
They're looking for attention. That's just like I saw the video
It's kind of
of.
like
Go ahead.
nah,
Go say what you got to say.
nigga, nah, nigga. Nope.
Okay.
You ain't. Nope.
Okay.
I'll-
But
nope.
as I was saying, I saw the video. It was a viral video of what looked like to be an African Uber driver, and in the back were two gay Latino. It was three of them actually. They were going off because the driver didn't play the music. Now the driver is calm as I don't know what, because I wouldn't have been that calm. But the whole time, the gentlemen were saying that he was being homophobic. I saw just ignorance. I didn't see the driver doing anything but, and again, he sat there recording three guys. They got out the car. They did all this extra stuff, and then and the gentleman got fired actually from his job because of his behavior. They were trying to say that the driver was being homophobic. A lot of times, people who are looking for attention or who don't really know what's going on will resort to an issue that goes back to, oh, you're homophobic.
And that's what I
oh,
was
you're
going to
racist.
say that I would say
But it's
that,
not
and that,
just it's
and
not just
that's
gay
what I was going to say.
people.
Where I was like, nah, nigga,
Right.
nah. But it's just like you said, people are sue happy. You got people that are apologize for what you said 15 years happy. Like, fuck out of here, man. Like,
Right.
that's
And I get
or I'm gonna
that,
tarnish and ruin your career. Like, no, get out of here.
but again, the misdeeds of the few who are being shown outweigh what people are really fighting for and the equality. I get that. There are blatant examples of homophobia. There are blatant example of misogyny and racism. But you have to look at what's going on, and then in that particular situation, those three guys were being assholes.
Because we can't title everything homophobic just because we don't agree or like, right?
That's just like if you go to a job and you want to say, "Oh, they didn't hire me because I'm black." You didn't understand that you didn't have your resume together. You did not come in prepared, and then you want to resort to the what a lot of people have fought for, race. You know, those things are called. Flame Monroe is in the house.
Who?
Flame. Thank you, Flame. What's
Flame
up, Flame?
Monroe?
Yeah. But again, those are individuals who have taken the system and used it for bad things when the individuals who have fought for equality are being outshadowed.
Ladies and gentlemen, 323-577-7630. Call in if you want to add to the topic, talk about something. You got a topic, bring it up. 323-577-7630. We flowing. We back.
We back,
Stop
baby. We
playing
talking
with
about
us.
equality, privilege, and that's another thing we got to go back on that too. Privilege. What is privilege? Because I brought up to something to you that you had never heard, that there is heterosexual privilege.
But there's more. There's more.
You can't say
There-
more or less. It just is.
First of all, I don't even know how to properly say it. There's more LGBTQ privilege now than hetero privilege, if that's the proper word. Hetero privilege. There's more, at least when it comes to what we do for a living.
Okay.
You know, at
You
least
mean as
when
in
it comes to
entertainment?
entertainment, because I guess everything else is kind of overshadowed when what we're talking about. And entertainment wise, there's more LGBTQ privilege than hetero privilege, heterosexual privilege, whatever you said, man.
I wouldn't say
In my eyes.
right. I wouldn't say privilege. I would say exposure, and because a privilege is, I'm educated, so I'm privileged to go to college, and I'm using that. See, there's a difference between being proud and what you have. Like, I'm proud that I have an education. My privilege is when I tell you, oh, because you don't, I'm better than you.
I'm using the same word you just used. You said there's heterosexual privilege.
Yeah.
I'm saying there's more LGBTQ privilege.
But what I'm saying is I wouldn't use it in that content, because what we're talking about is more, thank you, Cherie, more exposure. Again, a privilege is, and I'll give you an example, because we see white privilege. White privilege is where someone doesn't have to do anything because they're white. They don't have to have the same struggles as African Americans or people of color. Heterosexual privilege is, again, the exposure or just the notion that everyone is heterosexual. That the privilege is that you have not had to know what it's like to wonder, will me loving my person or showing my partner affection get me killed? Some people have used that and they're not acknowledging it. That's what I'm saying when it comes to privilege.
So what's LGBTQ privilege? You said heterosexual privilege. What's LGBTQ privilege?
I'm trying to figure out what in your opinion, what, because I'm serious, because just like I explained to you, what do you think a privilege is that the LGBTQ community has?
Or should I switch the word to power?
That would be better. And
Okay.
your example is
The ones I've been giving these past 2 weeks.
Mhm.
The ones I've been giving these past 2 weeks, or what, past 2, 3 weeks. Just everything. If you say, not to say your community, if the LGBTQ community have a problem with something somebody said, something somebody done, like I said, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they can bring it up 10, 15 years later when that person is no longer that person. No longer that person. And then they want you to, as I said before, apologize for it. Apologize for what you said 15 years ago. Of course, you're not that person anymore. Of course, you're not that person. Obviously, you've grown, you've matured, you've learned, you love everyone, but we want you to apologize for what you said 10 years ago. We want you to relive that moment and apologize for it, even though it's clear you moved past it, even though it's clear you do not believe or think like that anymore. We want you, because either we gonna cause an uproar, which means you gonna lose money, or you apologize. We got power. We got the power. We got your career in our hands, basically.
I'm going to break that down twice, because I told you that was a smokescreen to getting Kevin Hart not fired, or getting Kevin Hart, what's going on? Getting Kevin Hart to not host the Oscars. Just like the thing that brought us to understanding on the same level is that the group of white individuals who claimed that the Black Panther movie was not being supportive of the LGBTQ community. I get that. But then also what they were trying to do is, again, it was a smokescreen. I get that. But it's no different than when the blacks shut down Michael Richardson, when he used the N-word at the Comedy Store. Why is it a difference? But and that
Wait. But they shut him down right then and there, though, right? They didn't wait years later, right?
right,
That's the difference.
right. And again, the smokescreen was that they brought this up. Like I said in a couple of episodes ago, if Kevin Hart did a joke about bitches with small titties, it would have been a whole bunch of, again, the LGBT community and those who fought for this or who rallied onto this used it as a ploy. They didn't want that black man to host the Academy Awards. And so again,
So I don't want you to mix up what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm not saying that you episode 1 you made it clear that it is not that it is not all kumbaya in the community.
Right.
You made it clear. So I don't want you to think that I'm saying that your whole community is like that. What I'm saying is it is that community that that's pushing that brought that out, that brought it up, that went back and did their Twitter research, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
on Kevin Hart. So I'm not saying it's because, like I said, in the documentary, all you see is white people.
Mhm.
You see the white people in the community. Not saying nothing to
Right,
sort of
right.
white
No,
people, but I'm just going based off what I've seen. And
Right.
you can watch it too. Like I said, episode 6 of Kevin Hart, don't fuck this up. But so I'm not trying to. That's the word. I'm not trying to generalize everybody,
Right.
right? But at the same time, it didn't come from the heterosexual community. It came from the LGBTQ community.
In this particular instance, but again, I will say it again, there are the 4 major things that separate people in general. And whatever those are, they will use them as a ploy. Politics, religion, sexual orientation and race. So you have to look at the bigger picture. That's just, again, what was the smokescreen that we just got? Dr. Martin Luther King was not fully assassinated. He was smothered and it was a ploy. So you had other people, including myself, all in my feelings like, oh my God. And then I was like, wait a minute. And Spirit was like, something don't seem right. I had to do more research. Imagine it said, as of what I saw in the other report, 9,700 people had seen this. So imagine the people who took that thought and ran with it. And in the back of their mind, when they see a white person, that's the first thing they're going to do. Just like with that incident with Kevin Hart, the first thing you want to blame the community and not look at the underline that they didn't want that man to host the Academy Awards. They got him out, in the words of Malcolm X, by any means necessary. We just so happened to be the fall guys. Just like when the whole Black Panther thing came out, you guys thought it was the gay community as a whole. And I politely got on there. I was like, no, it's not. Because as African Americans and
Well-
blacks, we were happy that the movie came out. That was the furthest thing from our mind. But somebody wanted to make it a black and white thing. So they said, oh, you guys are not honoring the Dora Milaje, who are obviously lesbians. With the Kevin Hart thing, they want to say, oh, it's the gay community. So again, there are people who use and misuse power is a give and take. There are people who have misused their power, and there are people who have used it for good. We just have to look at the example and not the individual. Again, I sat yesterday with my uncle, who is a sheriff, getting ready to retire. We are born in South LA. He's not out there shooting other black men. So I knew when all this were happening that I had to look at the individuals and not police officers as a whole, because my black uncle is a police officer. That's all I'm saying, is that when things happen, we have to look at the individual and the groups of people that's going on and not all people. Racism happened. There's no denying it. I have some of the best people in my life. My supporters are heterosexual white people. I would be remiss if I blamed them for something that somebody else did, or when I see them feel some kind of way. That's all I'm saying, is that we have to look at the underline of what's going on and who is for. That's it. That's all.
323-577-7630, 323-577-7630. If y'all want to touch in, hit the topic, come up with something, hit the call, hit the line. Y'all know what to do. This episode 15. Y'all know what to do.
We back.
I get what you're saying, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? There's an underlining issue. Cool. That's understandable. That does not change the fact. Let's take Kevin Hart out the picture. Okay? That does not change the fact that when it comes to this industry that we in, us three here, well, kind of four. When it comes to the industry that we in, and
we're talking about acting and entertainment. For those who don't know, both Jake and I, myself, are actors. We have other people in the building who are entertainers as well. So it's more prominent to us, and we see it more. But that's what we're talking about. It happens in blue collar and white collar as well too.
Yeah. It happens. It happens in everywhere. But I'm speaking about the entertainment industry. When it comes to our the field that we're in, let's take Kevin Hart off the picture. Let's take the Oscars out the picture. It don't even have to be the Oscars. If somebody said something 10 years ago, because Kevin Hart wasn't the only one that got some stuff dug up on him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not just about them not wanting him to host the Oscars, which, it probably, I get why you said that. But it just seems to me like the LGBTQ community don't want to let certain members in the LGBTQ community, let me say that, don't want to let you grow and become the person that you are now. They want you to live in your past, to address what you said in the past. That's my issue. See, my issue is just like I say, the best behavior is what? Change behavior.
Right.
That's the best behavior. Okay? And if I am no longer the person that I was 10 years ago, why won't you let me continue to be the person that I am, the person that you love, the person that everybody loves? Let me be this person. Why do I have to relive, my ignorant ways, 12 and 15 years ago because you got a problem with it? Because certain members in the community and the LGBTQ community have a problem with something that you know, somebody potentially said or somebody said.
And again, those are individuals. We are adults. We can talk to each other and see reality. But there's always a power struggle. Before the LGBT community had a big say so, the industry was mainly Jewish run and quiet as kept. It's always been gay. It's always been run by gay Jews. Those individuals misuse their power. Anytime a group of individuals tries to hold back another group, whether it's men to women, whether it's whites to black, whether it's straights to gays or gays to straight, it's again, it's the overall thing. It's not, and it's those individuals. It's always going to be a power struggle. We're very familiar, or at least I am, with the crabs in the barrel syndrome. So it's always going to be, okay, this decade we have this group of people in charge. Before it was again, we've all known that the industry has always been run by white Jewish people. Now we have individuals of color because we've stepped up. Before blacks have got to where we are now, it was always a struggle to just get anywhere in the building. The reason why we have the NAACP, the reason why we have all these things is because the individuals fought the powers that be at the time to do more. They always wanted to hold us back. That's all I'm saying is acknowledge the individual groups. Again, every group, just like I'm African American, I'm black, whatever the case may be. At 41, I have no criminal record. I've not gone to jail. I've not done a lot of stuff that is stereotypically known for being a black man. I can't judge my race over the individuals who are not doing those things. That's all I'm saying. It's always a power struggle. You have the more upwardly mobile blacks who think, oh, I don't want to go to South LA. No, good and well, they was born in South LA, but because they have a little bit of money, they have memory lapse, or they want to hold back someone. They want to see their peers. And again, like I said, us versus them. It's always going to be somebody with an us versus them, or that's not me, or this doesn't happen to me. And when that happens, that's when the power struggle comes along.
Okay.
323-577-7630. What's our time, producer Paul? We're at 52. 52, okay.
So we got about 8 minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. So
I know you're not to ghetto. I know you're not to ghetto. I love me some Faith Evans.
So one thing I want to touch on, but I wish a woman would call in.
I know.
Because
I just play one on TV.
It's not really for us to really talk about. I mean, we got a lady in the room, but
who just don't know that she's gonna be in this middle seat one of these weeks. She just don't know.
I just want to know. And I know it's something sensitive to touch on, but I just want to know. I just want to know, ladies. Okay, I'll put it like this, just so you know, this don't hump me 15 years from now, or 5 years, or 2 years, or 6 months from now.
Okay, because I thought you said hump. I was like, hump you. You
Haunt.
said haunt, right?
Haunt.
Okay.
I just want to know, ladies, how do you feel when women come out 20 years later, when somebody is on now? Let's say this person was a nobody at first, and now this person is getting ready to, I mean, he just blew up, you know, star, A-list celebrity type. He's A-lister now. I just want to know why women feel like it's okay to wait until this individual become a megastar to say he potentially or he allegedly did something. It don't gotta be rape. It could be whatever. You know what I'm saying? I just want to know why you feel like it's okay. I'm not saying it's not. This is really just a question. I'm trying to word properly so you guys don't use this against me when I become an A-lister. So help me, help you, help me.
Again, it goes back to the crabs in the barrel thing. They're trying, whatever the case, it's always going to be somebody, whether you are in politics, whether you are in a position at a job, if somebody doesn't like what you're doing for whatever reason, they're going to try to find something. We all got something that we've done, that we've said out of content or things like that. So again, it's petty. It's basically petty.
Should there be a statute of limitations on certain things, on everything?
It's really a fine line because it all depends on how dire the crime or not the thing was. Because if we're talking about justifiable rape or something like that, then that's different than me not liking you because you turned me down for a date or something like that. Again, those are people misusing the because there are people who this really happens to.
Right.
And it's sad because they're fucking it up for everybody else. It's like the boy who cried wolf. That situation goes for this whole Me Too movement because I'm sorry, Janice Dickens was like, "Oh, well, I went there and I was in my pajamas." Bitch, you don't even look like you wear pajamas.
Yeah,
I
shut
didn't
up.
believe her at all.
I didn't
Just
either.
like the woman who was able to be pinned for Bill Cosby, baby, she looked more manly than I do. She didn't also talk about how she helped her basketball career. If I'm wrong, correct me. That's what I saw. I also, who have been on the Gloria Allred Judge show, know that Gloria Allred and her daughter, them is Captain Saberhoes. And I don't mean it in everyone's a whole. I mean they will come and take these women and do this whole transformation. They sitting there crying. That's just like when Meg Whitman and Governor Brown went. They were going for they. Gloria Allred dug up Meg Whitman's maid, who said she was saying something racist and all kind of stuff. So then you had the ploy. You had two in one. You had politics and you had race. That's all it is, and it's sad because for the people who really are affected or going through something, the smoke screen is blown over to people who are crying wolf.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love the Me Too movement, and I
Yeah.
also hate the Me Too movement.
Mhm.
I like it, and I also dislike it. I love it because it
It's
has
bringing attention.
and it has stopped a lot of these men in power abuse their authority when it comes to getting roles or getting certain positions in the industry.
Right.
Taking advantage of women and even some men.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
now it's like, okay, you try me and I will speak up. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Look what
So
they did to Terry Crews.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I like it because of that, but I hate it because
Strongly
too
dislike it.
many. I strongly dislike it because I've seen a lot of women try to take that and use it to their benefit,
Right.
knowing they're lying.
Right.
But all one
Not,
woman
or,
got to
wait a
do
minute, are not fully lying, not being fully accountable.
that.
Because
Yeah, right, right. All a woman got to do is say one thing, and women are going to stick together. You can say one thing, next thing you know, you got the women behind you. Next thing you know, that man is lying or that man did it. He
Hold
is
on.
he is guilty, even though he probably don't even fucking know you. He's guilty.
I'm about to get a whole bunch of slack because that's what stopped the friendship of a few people on my thing. But I knew that Jussie Smollett was lying and was full of shit from the get go.
Some of your friends think he was telling the truth.
I had friends who stopped, didn't want to talk to me. They told me I wasn't gay. They told me I should support him because I was being, and I'm just like, are you not understanding? Like I knew it from it was. If it two and two don't add up to four, but 75 and a half, something is wrong. I knew that what he was saying did not make sense, but I was supposed to rally behind him because I'm black and I'm gay. Oh, you're trying to hold down a film, and I was like, bitch, I don't give a fuck. It's stupidity. That's just like if we see all these videos of these black women going into the Korean salon and getting, baby, they was in there stealing. Let's call it what it is. Let's call it what it is. But we're supposed to look, oh, because we're black, we're supposed to automatically. I don't condone stupidness.
I love black people, but I hate niggas. Those were niggas.
Right. And,
Okay.
and what that was going on was faggotry.
I can't say that word, but
I
he
can't.
can. So
I told you I've turned down more roles because I was not doing niggatry and I wasn't doing faggotry. But yeah, that's the whole thing. I was supposed to support. I had someone who also had a podcast who's asking people for money, but that's another story. But they was like, "Why are you doing that? You should support him. He's black and he's gay." And yet they stopped talking to me. They talked about me on their podcast, which I heard. And when I seen them last week, they didn't say a mumbling word. But we're gonna let that slide. But yeah. It wasn't a black or gay thing. It was morals. And what he said was wrong, as we have been proving it. So again, I get what you're saying. Again, I don't know if you remember the story, but that woman that they actually were able to pin Bill Cosby on, the basketball player, I don't think she was up there for Bill Cosby. She wasn't up there for no pudding pops. She knew that she can get advanced in her career, so she went and did what again, he may have put a move on her, but it advanced her career.
that shit deeper than Bill Cosby.
Yeah, it's deeper. So,
Where we at, Paul?
where we at, Paul?
Ball
Okay.
game. Ball game. Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we-
thank you again for another episode number 15. Oh.
We
Right.
we didn't concluded another episode, week 15,
Right, Bridget, yes.
episode 15. I appreciate you all. We appreciate you all. Um, y'all know how we do it, man. Tuesday, 7:30 Pacific Standard Time. That's 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. You know, we got episode 16 coming next week. We're gonna do what we do. We both back in the right mindset and whatnot. Y'all know how I like to close out my part of the segment with the same thing I'm about to say right now. What do I say again? Yeah, I know I'm daddy, but I'm talking about what do I? Make big problems small, make small problems non-existent. Yo, you can follow me on Instagram at C Jake Johnson. That's the letter C Jake Johnson, and you can follow you can add me on Facebook at Jake Technique Johnson. That's Jake Technique Johnson. If you can't spell technique,
I don't know. Shit.
Google it, man. Y'all know what I'm about to say. Go ahead, bro.
You don't even know what you about to say. Shit. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Armond Anderson. But I'm excited. Like I said, we said this in the beginning of the year. On every fourth every fourth Tuesday, we will have a guest interviewing them in our series we're entitling Purposely on Purpose. We have a fashion designer coming up. I'm really excited. They'll be here next week. We're interviewing them. Also, we're going to have post interviews posted to our YouTube page, so stay tuned to our YouTube links. We're also going to be doing some on-the-street interviewing, some after videos and stuff like that. So Jake and I are getting in there now that the play is over. We got a little bit more time. We're going to give you guys a little bit more content on our YouTube page. So again, thank you guys for supporting us. If you can, please, all of our episodes are streaming on all major streaming sites, Apple, iPods, all of them. Thank you guys.
Spotify, iTunes,
Right.
everything, and then we got the YouTube page as well.
Right.
Agree to disagree talk. We love y'all. We see you next week.
Thank you guys.
Dude.
Audi 5000.